So, uh, I'll get started. Um, so I'm Will. I'm the marketing and events assistant here at Eric. And for those of you who don't know what Eric is, we're the leading creative careers app for Gen Z. We're the go-to platform for 16 to 25-year-olds who are looking to enter the creative industries. So I'm excited to be doing this session today. Very excited. It is my first one that I'm fully running. And I know that everyone here genuinely cares and is passionate about helping the next generation break into the creative industries, which is very exciting for us. And I'm sure that you're all trying to attract new and diverse talent and aiming to reach underrepresented audiences to help them get into the creative industries. But I'm sure that you're all facing a similar issue. Gen Z, we're just different. We think differently, we have unique values, and most importantly, communicate very differently, and we prefer to be communicated with in new ways. Traditional methods and terminology and platforms aren't really resonating with us as a generation anymore, and it's changing so quickly that it's understandable that it's difficult for companies and organizations to keep up with the latest trends. So if you want to reach the hard to reach, you need to learn new ways to communicate and start authentically connecting with the audiences that you're trying to target. So that's why Eric's here. We're experts at marketing opportunities and resources to Gen Z, specifically within the creative industries. You may be asking yourself, where does this expertise come from? But not only have our co-founders been doing this for 10 years, which has given them invaluable experience and knowledge, but the majority of our team are actually Gen Z. So we know exactly how they think because we are them. I mean, the average age of our team is only 26, so it's something we're quite proud of. And our credibility speaks for itself. The Eric app only launched 2 years ago, and already we've had 120,000 downloads, which is a pretty big number. But we don't just have numbers. We also have a track record of capturing their attention and trust, mostly through our TikTok success. We have millions of views, nearly 1 million likes, and tens of thousands of followers, thousands of comments, which also big numbers that we're proud of. And our hope is that you leave today feeling confident in your Gen Z engagement strategies and perhaps even spread the word about the amazing work that we do here at Eric. So, onto the running order. First, we'll be diving in to Eric's 5-step Gen Z engagement strategy that you can use to immediately start building these authentic connections. Then I'll give a quick demo of the Eric platform and some of the features just to show you how easy it is to implement this strategy. Finally, as I said, we'll be closing with a little Q&A, which is your opportunity to ask any of the burning questions that you have for us. Right, let's get down to business. So our 5-step strategy was something that we developed because we understand that while the intention to engage with Gen Z is there, it's often hard to know where to start, what to create, and which platforms to use, especially when you have limited time and resources, like I know a lot of you do today. This uncertainty can mean going back to strategies that you've tried before that haven't really worked and hoping for a different result, which isn't really the way forward. So we're here to show you that thinking in new and effective ways is not only doable, but it's also fairly easy at times. All it takes is following a structured process, and we promise it's much easier than you think. So, step 1 is to identify and understand your target audience. It is essential not to treat Gen Z as being the same. They're incredibly diverse with a wide range of interests, behaviors, and preferences. And this diversity means that to effectively connect with them, you need to define and understand the mindset of who you're trying to reach specifically. Don't try and talk to them all at once because it's just not going to work. And unfortunately, we see many organizations who are still taking this approach. So please remember that you all have a unique perspective and you all come with amazing industry knowledge. So lean into it and start understanding how you can stand out by connecting through issues that both you and your target audience care about. For example, if you're an organization that's aiming to train young people to be better at applications, then you'll have a wealth of knowledge about the mistakes that Gen Z are making in interviews, CVs, cover letters, that kind of thing. Your guidance is incredibly valuable and incredibly wanted by them. And it's also so relevant, particularly if it's industry specific. For example, what differences exist between, say, what the advertising industry is looking for in a CV versus like the music industry? It's something that a lot of young people don't know and are looking for information on. So one of the best ways to do this is obviously to hear directly from them. So organizing focus groups, surveys, or online events can provide invaluable insights. So we've gathered a few examples of what organizations have promoted on Eric that we think is pretty good. So Access VFX, they asked young people to submit questions and then they turned it into a podcast where industry professionals were answering those questions. So Gen Z were hearing directly from industry professionals about exactly the things they wanted to know. Then we also have the BBC, who asked Gen Z to answer a survey. They had a monetary prize which incentivized Gen Z because money, and they got over 1,000 responses, which is obviously a lot. And finally, we have Talk 20s. They were creating a report to show real data on relationships, loneliness, job satisfaction, and how much people are earning, as well as a bunch of other things. They promoted the survey on Eric, and young people were happy to take part as they wanted to make sure that their generation was understood and accurately represented. So we also have one of Eric's partners that we wanted to put a little spotlight on. It's a creative brand called Bandstand, who we think have done a phenomenal job at understanding their target audience and creating great resources off the back of that. And so obviously we wanted to give them a shout out and share some of the amazing things they've been doing and sharing on Eric. They're only a small team, but they're incredibly passionate about diversity and supporting young people into the advertising industry. So they designed a YouTube session called Ask Anything You Want to Know About the Ad Industry, and released an article with the same name that received a lot more engagement on the Eric app. This is a great example of something that your organization can be doing by being open to trying new things and really understanding the audience that you're trying to reach. You will be able to improve your engagement with Gen Z. So that's step one, identify and understand your target audience, which moves us on nicely to step two, which is creating or repurposing content. So now that you know what your target audience is and you understand the challenges that they face, it's time to create or repurpose content that will genuinely help them. So content marketing, it's not just a trend, but it's a crucial strategy for organizations to connect with their audiences, especially with younger generations. And it's also much less time consuming than, say, a 6-month internship program or attending physical events or speaking at schools or universities. But the hardest part when it comes to content is obviously knowing what content to put out and what to create. So, what is high quality content? Well, the secret to content is that it must add value. It should be either informative, educational, or entertaining, and it has to address your audience's needs and interests. So think about the challenges that you identified when you went through step one and how you can provide solutions or insights. So here are a few examples of our team's favorite and most popular content in the Eric app, just to give you some perspective. So first, from Financial Times, we have Get Expert Tips on How to Smash an Interview. They put on a session that prepared young people for their next interview. It was online, but it was a really effective way to support the next generation. They also focused on interviews because they saw that many young people didn't know what to do or to expect through the application process. So next, we have land a role in social media with these top tips, which is from a jewelry company called Stuki. It's a really simple and effective piece of content. It's one where you know exactly what you're getting from the title. And it was some top tips about getting into social media And what we loved about it was that it really spoke to entry level candidates and entry level audiences. So it's hyper relevant. And they've also focused on a topic that's incredibly relevant to them because they hire for social media all the time. So it's basically a pipeline for their next employee, which is fab. Then we have what is the difference between SEA and university? This piece of content was by the School of Communication Arts, SEA, a specialist educator in the advertising industry. And it's fantastic because it answers a common question that many young people have. Is a university course actually worth it? It's a great way to highlight what SEA do, as they are an alternative route to university, and they want to show young people different routes into the creative industries, which is incredible. Finally, we have the Creative Career Toolkit, which is from Escape Studios, which is a VFX gaming and animation educator. This toolkit was designed to appeal to everyone and helped them engage with a wider audience while showcasing and educating people on what VFX games and animation are all about, which is something that they often wouldn't have learned in school. So hopefully, by sharing these content ideas, it has sparked your own ideas and proven that there is so much more that you can be doing when creating your own content. So now I'm going to move on to step 3, which is don't forget the basics. It's incredibly important, but it's often overlooked. You don't want to be creating all of this great content or spend time creating a mentoring scheme or a training program only to fall at the last hurdle by not effectively communicating and forgetting the basics. Remember, many Gen Z individuals are just starting out on their career journey, so making the effort to provide them with the right information and show that you care is crucial. Eric promotes hundreds of opportunities and pieces of content, so we see firsthand how many organizations forget this. Poor communication can lead to Gen Z turning off. They just won't read ahead. Last week at UKCF, we got to meet thousands of young people and ask them what turns them off when applying to early career opportunities. So we're now going to play a little video that will give you a flavour of what Gen Z had to say. Ooh. I think the sounds. Selena, who is amazing in sharing the slides, can you just turn your audio on while you play the video? I think then we'll be able to hear it, if that's okay. Thank you. Hmm. Apologies, we seem to be having a couple of technical difficulties. Can anyone hear it?
I don't think anyone can hear it. But we can read it, so I don't know if that's helpful.
Um, yes, I mean, it's good that we've got captions, so I'll just leave you to read it for a few minutes.
I actually think we can just move on to the next slide, maybe, and we'll share this presentation obviously with you guys afterwards, so you can actually watch the videos for yourselves.
Fab. Okay, so apologies for that, but it was things like basic salary, duration, entry requirements, um, and obviously you'll be able to watch it properly when it goes out on the slides. So to help you with these things, we've created an Eric checklist, which is on the next slide.
Oh, sorry, Selena has just messaged saying she can't hear what you're saying, so I don't know what's happened with the audio, but it's all. Um, so let me just message her, but yes, bear with us, guys, while we sort this out.
The wonders of modern technology. Thank you. So this is our Eric checklist that we think is really good when creating things like job descriptions, course descriptions, training schemes, event descriptions, kind of basically anything that you will be wanting to create, you can go through this checklist and just kind of find it really easy. You'll be surprised by how many organizations actually forget key details, which are crucial for young people to know. So things like, does the opportunity fit with their schedule? Are they even eligible? Even things like, where is the opportunity taking place? It also means that you'll be saving time for both you and the young people. We often hear that young people apply for opportunities only to find out the deadline has already passed because no one updated the description. So make sure that you take a picture of this so that you can share it with your teams and remind yourself of key details that you might be forgetting. Again, we'll also be sending out the slides, so you'll have it then as well. So moving on to step 4, look at the data. Now, let's talk about data, which is something we all know and love. So what key metrics should you as a charity be looking at and tracking to gauge your success? There are countless metrics that many of you are likely tracking already through various channels and platforms, and we know that it can be overwhelming. At Eric, we've simplified this by focusing on just 3 engagement metrics: unique views, clicks, and saves. Unique views is obviously how many people are clicking to view your content or opportunity. It's crucial to look at unique views since many platforms count all traffic or impressions, which aren't unique. Unique views give you a clearer picture of the direct engagement and impacts. Then we have clicks, which is a measure of effectiveness of your content. After viewing, did people go through to read more? Did they visit your company website as a result? That kind of thing. And finally, we have saves, which indicates the amount of people that found your material valuable enough to view it again later. By looking at the right data and understanding how to interpret it, you can continuously improve your engagement strategies and achieve better results. So, one of Eric's partners that we wanted to highlight is Penguin Books. They are one of the biggest publishers in the world and have loads of amazing early career opportunities. And when they looked at the data, they noticed that most applications weren't great. And it was clear that young people weren't being taught the basics of how to apply, what to say, and a bunch of other things. So to fix this, Penguin created content and resources that helped young people with their own application process. They made articles like how to smash an interview at Penguin, how to write a killer cover letter in publishing, and a guide on their website explaining how a book is made. Since many young people didn't even know the basics of publishing, the smart part is that they linked these resources in every single one of their internships and entry-level job posts so that they were available to people as and when they were applying. These resources are some of the most popular content on the Eric app and have inspired so many other brands to do the same. And as I mentioned before, each of you is unique, and what one charity looks for might differ from another. So we need to work together to upskill young people, creating an inclusive environment where everyone has the chance to improve and enter the creative industries. So finally, step 5 is to repeat and stay consistent. Consistency in engagement is crucial. Regular interactions keep your audiences interested and invested in your brand, and it's important to keep showing up and maintaining a steady presence in your audience's lives. We often hear from you that you have a limited time and resources to stay consistent, and we get it. But here are several hacks and trends that have been proven to work. So, evergreen content and toolkits. Creating evergreen content is content that doesn't expire and is an easy way to stay consistent because it's always there. Toolkits are one of the most popular types of evergreen content on our app. And like the Escape Studios one we showed you earlier, it's just a really great way to build basic knowledge in young people about the industry. So then getting your Gen Z employees involved. Involving advocates and your existing employees or students or the people going through your courses means that they're providing peer-to-peer advice, which is the best and most trusted way amongst Gen Z. We love hearing from people our own age about things that are going on because they know the audience and they know about the experiences that they've just gone through and they enjoy gaining the experience of being a mentor and an advocate because it's something that they can put on their CV. Finally, is to work with partners to create Gen Z content. Working with partners who know what they're doing is beneficial. And Eric has so many amazing Gen Z content creators that we can recommend to you. So please do get in touch if you want to ask that question. They understand how to speak to your audience and they make sure that you're delivering consistently because they're doing it for you. So that is the 5-step process. I hope that it's given you some confidence and some direction on how your organization can start improving your Gen Z engagement and can start building trust and deeper connections with younger generations. I know it's a lot to take in, and you might be thinking, that all sounds great, but I don't have the time to do any of that. And that's exactly where the Eric platform can help. So I'm going to give you a super quick demo of Eric's company portal, its features, and how your organizations can implement this 5-step strategy effortlessly. So first of all, it's completely free to get a company profile on Eric. So if you haven't got one already, or you've forgotten how to access your existing profile, all you have to do is head to our website and sign up via the company portal. So you can do this either through scanning the QR code, or I'm just going to put the link in the chat now. So that is to sign up for a company profile. Then we have the app, which is designed for young people. And while the app's designed for young people, the company portal is a desktop tool exclusively to help organizations. It is super easy to create your profile. All you have to do is fill in the details, add your logo, and within minutes, you'll be visible to hundreds of thousands of Gen Z. Once your profile is set up, you can obviously then start creating, sharing, and promoting your opportunities and content. For example, if you have a TV mentoring scheme, you can promote it on the Eric profile and even target specific groups of users in certain locations. So if you have a TV mentoring program in Manchester, then you can use tags to ensure that only users interested in the TV industry and are also based in Manchester will see it. If you don't offer career events or training opportunities, or you don't have any currently open, or content and events are a great way to stay engaged. Just like in the case studies I mentioned earlier, Eric's content tools help you to create things like mini articles, or you can link to existing videos that you've already got, or podcasts that you've already got, or even like TikToks, YouTube Lives. And the best part about Eric is the in-house team of Gen Z experts. They're here to help you with copywriting, content ideas, imagery, and ensuring inclusivity. They'll review everything that you upload and help you connect with your target audience. And in the portal, you can choose whether you want that support or not. But I'd advise you do because they are pretty brilliant. And finally, we gathered the data for you. So on your custom dashboard, we can track unique views, clicks, and saves. So to help you pinpoint what's effective and what's not, so that you can focus on what is working best and adjust your strategies accordingly. So, as I said, I hope that you leave today feeling more confident in your Gen Z engagement strategies. And if you liked what you heard so far and you want more, there are 2 things that you can do and sign up to for today. So first would be following Eric on LinkedIn, which I will also put in the chat. Okay. And on there, we share case studies and league tables of the most popular content and opportunities. So it's really interesting to keep up with. And the second is to sign up for our newsletter, which I will also put in, which has a lot more tips and tricks on how to engage with young people more effectively. So thank you very much. That's my part done. I'm now going to pass you over to Sam, who's going to go through a Q&A with you. So I hope you've got all your questions ready. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, Will. That was amazing. You did a fantastic job there. That was also Will's first event, or hosting the event. So round of applause for Will. Fantastic. Right, does anyone have any questions? We are kind of open for the next, well, I guess 5 to 10 minutes for any questions that you might have about whether it's about Gen Z, how they think about careers, what we do with the app, any further questions on, I guess, what Will has just gone through. If you want us to revisit any points, we're available as well. So let's have a look at the... So you can either put your questions in the chat or you can put it in the Q&A, which is actually open and available. Obviously, there is a chance that Will may have answered every single one of your questions already, so maybe there is nothing left to answer. Okay. We also have another, one of our big insights events happening in November, or October, sorry. Specific date to be announced, but that is actually coming up as well. So while I've got everyone here, I thought I would mention that. So if anyone is interested in finding out the details for that event when we have the details sorted, it's probably going to be in Birmingham. Then, and also it will be streamed online like all of our events are, then please do drop us a line on hello@meet-eric.com and we can give you the details or add you to a mailing list. Will, if you wouldn't mind putting the email in the chat there for everyone. Okay, so we've got Rosie. How long do you think Gen Z want from post to deadline for opportunity? Is there such a thing as a deadline being too long away? Well, so interesting. So I think there's kind of a sweet spot. We can definitely delve more into the data to kind of answer that question, certainly. But if it's too far away, we do see lots of people saving the opportunity and then kind of forgetting that they've saved it. So that's actually why we've got notifications on the app now to make sure that people are reminded when it's like 2 days away from a deadline that they may have forgotten about. But then if it's too soon, if it's like within a kind of, week period, we also see people kind of getting a little bit turned off by that because they feel like they don't have the time or the energy or the immediate availability to be able to put effort and emphasis into an application or and they feel like they're not going to do a good job, so they just kind of like mentally clock out of it. So we would always say if you want to put an opportunity up, for example, on the app, then between, I guess, 3 to 2 weeks in advance of the deadline is probably a good time. But like I say, we've got notifications now on the app, so even if someone does save an opportunity for later, then they are notified anyway a couple of days before the deadline, so they should be kind of reminded. But yeah. Oh, amazing. Thank you, Rosie. I hope that answers your question. Let me know if there's any follow-up questions to that. Are there words that put Gen Z off? Yes, equally, that they recognize. Yes. Oh my gosh. This is actually one of my favorite topics because I just really feel like it speaks to the psychology of different generations and like how different words have, I guess, kind of got different, I guess, connotations attached to them over time. So my favorite example of this that we have actually seen on the app is if you label an opportunity as, I guess, relevant, or if you put the word freelance in an opportunity, young people do see that as a bit of a turn off. Whereas if you put the word entrepreneur in an opportunity, they actually get very excited by that word. There really is very little difference between the role of a freelancer or the role of an entrepreneur. I mean, they're both working for themselves, building their own empire. And I guess kind of the only difference really is that an entrepreneur may end up hiring other people. However, to begin with, you're very much working for yourself and doing your own payroll. But it's because the reason for the difference is because freelance, the like kind of area of freelancing still has so many myths around it that are relatively negative. So, it's very unstable. You don't really get any work. You don't get paid that much. There's a real negativity around that word that is kind of perpetuated by online conversations on social media. Whereas entrepreneur, I mean, the glamorization of the kind of entrepreneurial lifestyle means that young people do get very, very, very excited about the prospect of being an entrepreneur, and they see it as a lot more stable, as a lot easier. But it's so interesting seeing the difference between, you know, those kind of words, and actually how kind of online PR has made such a difference between the interpretation. Other words, I mean, we actually do have like, we have a slide on this from another talk that we've done, so we can actually send that through. Yes, job titles that can be misleading, like account manager. Lots of young people don't actually know what, you know, an account manager is, or executive is a word that lots of people get confused by as well. To a young person, the only way the only context that they've ever heard the word executive in is CEO, or, you know, executive, you know, I guess in their heads it means something that is very high powered, whereas an account executive, for example, we all know, because we've been in the industry, actually refers to someone who is kind of, I guess, entry level. So often they see the word executive and they immediately assume that that role is basically, you know, too advanced for them, and that they don't, it's a senior position. So like those kinds of things are very, very important. But yes, we will actually share the slide that we have from that other talk with the script that goes along with it that highlights other specific keywords. But this is actually something that our Gen Z, you know, like team actually can help you with. So they can pinpoint specific words. If you submit some copy for an opportunity, they can pinpoint specific words, being like, actually, how can we get around that? How can we make that a bit more accessible? So that is one of our, I guess, superpowers at Eric. Okay, so there we go, Gwen. I hope that's been helpful. Planner. Someone once told me that planner, a job in advertising, gets confused. No, absolutely. I mean, these are all kind of, I guess, words that are essentially jargon specific to an industry. So if you're already in the industry, you will be very well rehearsed on what those mean. However, if you have literally no experience and you've never been in that industry before, these are all alien to you. So I guess any previous association you have with that specific word, that is going to immediately come into your head, and will probably be the default expectation for a young person. There we go. Okay, Daisy, is there a sweet spot for content length, e.g. video length or article read time? That's a really good question. I think this is probably something that the content team is better to answer, because they see the interactions with the content on a daily basis on the app. But I think it definitely depends on what the article or the video is about. The shorter the better, absolutely. We've definitely seen, obviously, with video, people are much more used to like TikTok style, you know, like pieces of content. So I think often in industry we have a kind of not an obsession, but we are perfectionists in a way. So we're very reluctant to like cut stuff out and cut out the ums and the ers. You know, we want a kind of full shot of someone saying a full sentence, whereas young people are much more used to chopping up bits of content, bits of video to like just get to the point a bit quicker. And so I do think that, you know, specifically, I guess when it comes to video, especially, you know, you want to make it as short as possible and don't worry about the finish of it. That's probably what I'd say. Amazing. Anyone else got any other questions? Sorry, my dog is chewing one of the yak sticks in the background, so I don't know if you can hear that, but she's been very noisy. Yes, exactly. As May says, any other questions that you have after this event, then please do get in touch with the Gen Z content team. They sit down with you, make sure that you have everything that you need. Oh, my internet connection seems to be a bit unstable. They make sure that you have everything that you need, and that they are helping you make your opportunity as marketable as possible to Gen Z. That includes helping with imagery, titles, body copy, and also, you know, other bits and pieces like keywords, making sure that you're including keywords that Gen Z are more likely to search for, so that your opportunity is more likely to come up. Okay, well, I guess if we have no more questions, then we may well end it there. Oh, let me have a look at the chat quickly. All right then, guys. Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Please do let us know if there's anything else. Yes, hello@meet-eric is the email that you can send a message to if you do have anything else that you want to ask. Have a fabulous day. Thank you, Daisy, for coming. Have a wonderful day yourself. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you all being here. We have this recorded, so we will send this to you afterwards tomorrow in an email, along with a couple of other bits and pieces. Also, feedback, please do. There's going to be a feedback form coming. Please do give us feedback. We want to improve these events for next time, so we really, really do want to get your honest, true thoughts. It's an anonymous feedback form, don't worry, guys. So if you really hate it, you can just say that you hated the event. That's fine. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.